Welcome to Weaves That Read. We're weebs and we do read. What's up, Anna? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I am just jumping in a circle because I have a convention going on tomorrow and I am the master of procrastination.
Fun stuff, fun stuff. What con are you going to?
I'm going to a smaller local con. I don't really want to say the name.
Oh, you don't want to dox yourself, is what you're
Yeah,
saying. Darn.
too close. It's too hot.
Oh, yeah. I my cons aren't local, but they're a good 45-minute drive from me. But I live in like the middle of nowhere. That's not gonna dox me. That could be anywhere.
Yeah, I live so in the middle of nowhere that the conventions that I go to are also the middle of nowhere, so it is going to dox me.
Oh, okay. You you went to like Frankfurt or something for one of your cons, didn't you?
Leipzig. Yeah, I've went to a few bigger conventions this year. I went to one in Leipzig and one in Munich.
Which one did you like more?
The one in Munich,
You
100%.
like what was better about it?
It was cheaper.
Oh, yeah. How much are costs? Are they bad?
They are really bad. I mean, I can only say for the convention in Leipzig, it's like a pretty big one. It's Leipziger Buchmesse. And those table fees are crazy. And then you have to also consider that during that event, hotel costs and Airbnb costs and all of that skyrockets as well. I've heard from some people that they paid like 3 or 4 times the usual price for a hotel during that time. And I felt it too. So yeah, it is just extremely expensive to get a table there. And the one convention that I went to in Munich, Animook, is comparatively a smaller convention, but it's still sizable.
How many people?
I don't know how many people. I know that Leipzig was like over like 300,000, and I don't know how big Animook was, maybe like 10,000 or
That is
something.
that is way more than any of the conventions I've been to. I go to relatively mid-sized conventions, and by conventions, I mean convention because there's one an hour or two drive from me. So it's always really convenient or relatively convenient, 20 minutes
Mhm.
would be nicer, but again, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog episode in here.
Mhm. I mean, as since I go to conventions as an artist in the artist alley and have my own table, I can afford to travel a little bit further because I mean I am expecting to make that money back. But yeah, for conventions that I just go for fun to, I also like only go to the ones that are close that I can hopefully reach by train. I don't have to like jump through all of the hoops, even though get a German train system is jumping through hoops the show. But that is a topic for a different day. Actually, I have an incredible story about train rides to conventions.
Oh, go for it.
Because years ago, in like 2017 maybe, I went to said convention in Leipzig, Leipziger Buchmesse. I went there as a visitor with my friends, which was like probably my first or second convention in my life, and we went there by train. And on our way there, the rails froze over. So we were, first of all, like, when we get there, we were just like standing in front of Leipzig main station for half an hour. No clue what was happening. Train incredibly full because of all of the people that wanted to go to the convention. And then when we got out of there, we were slipping on that like station floor. It was just like fully covered in ice. And then later on during that convention, we learned that all trains were canceled because of the weather conditions. And we were just like, how are we gonna get back into our middle of nowhere town?
You're not.
Wow! Because we were also like 16 at the time, so that was scary, but we luckily met a acquaintance of one of my friends who went there
Mhm.
by bus, and thank fucking God, the bus still had like seats left open, so we could get back home. That was fun. That was an experience of all time. Ever since then, I have been like traumatized. That is like everyone has a story about how the German train system has traumatized them, and that is mine.
Only one, or is it multiple?
For me, that is my main story
Okay.
because I don't take the train that often. If you take
Right,
the
right.
train a lot, then you of course will have more stories. But yeah, I always love it when you're at like a train waiting for your train and it's late or anything happens and you just like start yapping to the other passengers that are also waiting. And then you can swap your traumatizing story.
I think the worst thing that has happened to me on the way to a con is our hotel parking lot was in an utterly different area code to like the actual hotel. So
What?
we kept circling over and over again looking for the oh man, what are they called? I'm not a city person, so I have no idea. It I'm just gonna say a parking lot. And we legitimately like circled that same area for I don't know, it felt like an hour, but it was like 5 minutes. We eventually found it, but it was kind of stressful because we're like, I have to stop eventually. That's how the gas works.
How far was it away? Did you have to walk like 2 billion years?
It is 5 minutes.
Okay. That is acceptable.
Yeah, it was within walking distance, and if we got there earlier, we would have had a closer one, but it was overflowed, so we had to move.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So what is the vendor life like? I've only ever gone as a participant.
Mm. I The vendor life, I mean, it's very fun. It is very on the one side, it is exhausting, but also very relaxing if you compare it to, like, your normal convention day. Because instead of running around for 5 hours and looking at things and running around even more, you just get to sit there for 8 hours or more and look at amazing people in cosplays and talk to people.
Oh, people watching is fun. I do
Yeah,
like seeing the cosplays.
and have people compliment your art. Ee-hee.
Do you get any people that ask for the artwork of the character they're currently cosplaying?
A lot of the times, yeah, it is. A lot of the times, it's like, "Oh my god, look, this is the character that I'm cosplaying," and points to something on my wall, on my booth, and I'm like, "Yes, you look amazing!"
Have you done any of the events like Maid Cafe?
No, I don't really like to go to the events because it's always such a crazy long line, and I mean, of course, as I don't really go there as a visitor. I don't go to conventions a lot as a visitor, and as a vendor, I just don't have the time because that is the downside to being a vendor. Is like you get to sit there for 8 hours and look at amazing cosplays, but you also have to sit there for 8 hours, manning your booth, selling things.
One of my questions was gonna be like how much free time you have, but that answers the question. None.
Mm.
You don't.
I mean, I that is the reason why I always take like a friend with me, or this time my mom, because none of my friends have time. They're all on vacation or whatever. I don't know. I'm married to the grind.
They're going
Cringe.
all the way to they're going all the way to Spain for their vacation.
Yeah, crazy. Lazy. Nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to work anymore and help me man my booth. I can't believe.
Is the work like demanding or is it just stressful because you're on a time crunch?
It's just exhausting because it's just so much sensory input all of the time.
Right.
There are so many people running around talking. You hear like a entire choir of conversation that have nothing to do with you. And sometimes you hear the stage, sometimes you hear games that are being played, music, everything. But you still have to pay attention to your customers and do like the customer service thing. One convention that I go to every once in a while has it the worst, I think. I love that convention. It's a very small one, but they're in such a location, which is like normally like a congress centrum, or like it's where it's like in the middle there's a stage with seating, and then there are around that entire like stage area where the audience sits, around that is there are booths, and then there's like a second floor with just like railings around it, and like some area where you can walk where like a bunch of the other stalls are at, or your other booths are at. And like all of this, and you can hear everything that is happening on the stage. Everything. And it is really cool to like actually get to see the program, because you usually don't get to see that as a vendor. But it is incredibly hard to have a conversation with customers that are coming by when behind you they're blaring the Mario Kart or whatever they're doing. Or they're like performances and stuff.
You mentioned Mario Kart. Does that mean at cons in Germany they also have like video game rooms with a bunch of consoles and
Yeah,
like
of course,
PCs in it? Oh, okay. I
everywhere.
I don't go to any other cons besides like that singular anime convention I go to, so I wouldn't know.
You need to go outside more often.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
I'll just go to Germany to check to see if they have a video game at their conventions.
Yeah.
You're so right.
It's funny because the convention that I'm going to tomorrow is just like 90% about video games, mostly just indie games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be it's a little bit exciting. It's exciting to go there. I personally don't I'm personally a little bit curious how things are going to go for me sales-wise, because I don't have a lot of stuff that is related to indie games or just gaming in general.
Right.
I'm more so anime and weeb shenanigans. If I know, crazy concept. Crazy for me to say. So I'm a little bit curious how that's gonna go.
It's funny because a game I started to play actually has like the German flag is how I can describe it at like the corner. So it's a from German developers, I imagine. It's called Aethermancer. It's actually pretty good. It's Pokemon-ish.
I see, I've never heard of it. I am very yeah, I'm not really keeping up with games. Yeah. I don't know. I sometimes like just like see game trailers from game studios on my Instagram reel, and on my Instagram reels, and I'm just like, that seems very interesting. I am never going to play this, but I appreciate the art.
I I don't usually buy special editions of video games, but I did get a legacy collection of Mega Man Battle Network. And in it they do have a art book, and it does go through like previous design concepts for many of the characters, and I thought that was really cool. I like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it is always cool to see the development of the characters. Concept art is a really interesting field. I couldn't do it. Every time I'm like designing a character, it's like this first iteration of the character. Maybe I'm going to do a second draft, but I'm like very rarely that I make a character design that needs more than 3 iterations for me to go, yeah, I like this.
You did it the first time, and you're like, I nailed it. No
Yeah,
point in continuing. It's all downhill from here.
yeah. It literally is. Like I'm like, okay, this time I'm gonna make more different character designs just to show, just to explore the idea more. And it's like, actually, I like the first version. I don't think I've ever chosen like the third version of a design.
I feel the same way about rough and final drafts. I always feel like I could be doing more, between those two, but I always just do like minor editing.
I just don't know. I just don't know how people can be like, okay, time to make 30 versions of this character and like completely divorce it from the original idea because somehow during development at some point the stories were standing in that position, so we have gone with like a completely different color palette, the theme has shifted like 90 degrees to that side, and Mercury is in a microwave.
Yeah, creative processes are always fun. I think because I I really think about each and every single panel I go to, and I'll rewrite a page 5 or 6 times sometimes if I'm unhappy with how it's coming out. So instead of doing multiple drafts, I'll usually just redo multiple pages over and over again.
I mean, that's better than just like sticking with a version that you don't really vibe with.
Right.
I sometimes just continue on with an idea and then I'm like actually at the page where I actually have to draw this idea out. I'm like, actually this fucking sucks. I should redo that. And it's like, okay, but now you changed now I changed the idea and I didn't set up the idea, so do I have to retroactively go back and change stuff there? Do I have to change the entire ending now? I had that a little bit in my previous one shot that I was working on, where it's like I had a scene written out that I was already kind of iffy on. I was like, okay, this is like a little bit too melodramatic. And in the end, I did decide to change it on the day that I was supposed to draw the page. It did turn out in the end, it didn't have like a crazy ripple effect. And I think in the end it did in fact improve the overall story. But yeah, what can I say? Let your drafts rest a little bit. Drink a glass of wine, come back a week later.
I do like sitting on a rough draft for a week or two, best case scenario, and then going back to it, see what I could do better, what I missed at the time, things like that.
Exactly. Sometimes it's also you come back to a draft and it's like, who the hell wrote this? This makes no sense at all.
Right? That's also a trap too, though, because you don't want to be rewriting the same story over and over again. You
Yeah.
want to move on.
Sometimes you have to just call it as, okay, this is as good as it's gonna get from me for now.
Right.
That is like one of those things that you have to know. You have to be able to do as a comic writer and a comic artist. I think on the artist side of things, sometimes the panel will not look the best it probably could be, but you just have to move on because there's a deadline and you have 17 more pages to draw. And as a writer, you also sometimes just have to move on and continue on with it because you also have a deadline and your artist is relying on you to give you the script so they can start working on it.
I'm trying. I'm going,
I
okay?
did not accuse you of anything. I was just saying that as a general thing of being a writer. You're doing great. You're in the deadline that I set for you.
Okay.
You're
I
taking it so personally. What the heck?
no, I know. I'm fine. I am a little not upset with my performance, let's say, but part of it is my own fault. For a while I didn't practice writing scripts as much as I should. I was told like a million times from some other writer friends that like, hey, you should have a one shot like ready. I'm like, I'll get to it. I got time.
And then I come around the corner like, hey, bestie.
And then this German I know just like fucking rolled up and dropped this product on my lap, and they're like, "I need this done by the end of the month," and I'm like, "You got it, boss."
To be fair, I went to you because I thought you already had a one shot ready because you were talking to me about the rough idea that we're going with right now, and I thought you just had already written it.
No, I had not.
Oopie.
That's what conversation is for, and I ask.
Teehee. I mean, at that time I didn't really care when you told me about it. I didn't care to ask.
I mean, I got it. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
and I think I didn't have an actual one shot. Probably, I probably had a chapter 1.
Hmm.
I do that a lot. I don't know. I just don't find writing short stories or one shots to be particularly fulfilling because I grew up on Naruto, Bleach. I watched Fairy Tail, God rest my soul.
The shit back then. Fairy Tail was the shit back then. But yeah, I do also see it that you are a fantasy writer through and through, and fantasy writers love to have their 500-page book once, and then only get worse from there. It is very hard to write a fantasy story, a high fantasy story at that, that is like contained within 30 pages.
Oh, you know what else is hard about writing a high fantasy story? Getting over the idea of wanting to ask your artist, be like, "Hey, can I have like a giant shot of giant castle? So that means you have to learn architecture now. I hope you have fun with that. Also, you might have to draw this again. Real sorry."
I need you to know that my response to that is I would rather eat glass.
I know, and I did that on purpose. There's 3 locations maybe in this script,
Uh,
and they're all more or less low key, like frontier castle type things where it wouldn't be too complicated.
Now, I told you you are allowed to make my life hell. I promise I will not get mad.
Not too mad.
Not too
It's
mad.
like, I promise not to kill you. Oh, that's really specific.
I promise not to kill you. I never said anything about not breaking your knees.
That leaves open maiming, gouging, crippling.
It will cause permanent damage. Let me say it like that. If you make me draw a horse, I'm taking an eye.
You're not really leaving anything up to the imagination, though, with that.
What doesn't kill you will fuck you up for life, and I am not about to kill you. I still need you to finish the script, haha.
Do you spend a lot of money at cons?
Absolute non sequitur.
So yes, you
Ah,
spend a lot of money at cons is what I heard.
yeah, I do. I mean, not as much anymore as I used to, especially in like Artist Alley, because I
Mhm.
feel like I have every sticker, I have every keychain, I have every print. It is not as exciting anymore to go and spend a lot of money at a convention because it's like I've been to so many already. It's like it's losing a little bit of the luster.
Right. I usually don't buy a lot, but my first year I did buy a really bad katana because I'm that kind of weeb. I
Oh
don't
no, not the
carry it
AliExpress
around,
katana.
so don't fucking get too crazy. Also, it's not a real katana. It's a chunk of metal, and I kind of hate it. It's already falling apart. It was $200 more or less.
Bruh, you can probably get that on AliExpress for 30.
I know, thank you. I was just helping out a local blacksmith as you
It
do.
looked cool, and now it's on your wall, probably, or in the corner.
The latter. It is currently in a corner.
Mm, yeah. The only thing where I go crazy at conventions is if there's a stall that sells manga. That's where
Yeah.
I'm at. I spent the convention that I was in Munich for. That was very bad because I went there. I went through the stall with the books like every day. I bought
Mhm.
more manga every day. I have to say I'm very happy that for the convention in Leipzig I didn't have the time, and the booths that had the actual manga were in a different hall than from us, so I would have to like walk across the entire convention, like half of the convention, to get there. So I didn't have
Mhm.
like all that much time and energy to get over there and buy a lot of stuff. But the one in Munich, that was tricky. That was really bad because it was like just downstairs from us, and I had also had like a friend with me who my friend is like not that much into manga.
But you're
Um,
gonna change that though.
I changed
One of
that.
us. One of us.
One
One
of
of
us, one
us.
of us. Yeah, I spent like the last like 12 years trying to get her into manga, and it didn't work. At a certain point I just like gave up and was like, okay, not their thing. It's okay, it's fine. We can talk about other things in life. It took like all of 8 hours of being at that convention to be like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go downstairs and like also buy some manga because we were at the hotel and I was showing them some of the manga that I bought and was like, oh, that looks so cool. And then they went downstairs, talked to some of the employees there, got like some recommendations, and then like bought I think the first two volumes of one of like two series. One of them Golden Kamuy and one of them is called The Fable. I haven't read The Fable yet, but I've read Golden Kamuy.
Mhm.
I borrowed it from them. And yeah. The next day, oh, I'm gonna go buy like the next two volumes of Golden Kamuy. Oh, and I was also like super taking advantage of it. And was like, oh yeah, I can you also like bring me those few manga that I wanted to have that I have on my to read to on my TBR, and yeah, sent them down. They came back with like those two manga, my manga, and then like another volume of the Fable, I think. And then later on, that was yeah. And later on, that was like then 100% my fault. That was like a little bit me being cheeky, and also because I remembered another manga that I really wanted to read and wanted to see if they had it downstairs, but I was busy doing some commissions at my convention
Right.
because I do a lot of traditional art commissions on there. So I was like, "Hey, can you go downstairs really quickly and like see if they have that one manga?" And then they went downstairs, came back with the manga that I wanted, and then came back with the first volume of Berserk and Vinland Saga.
Ooh.
I created a monster.
Oh. Wait, Berserk and Vinland Saga. Oh god.
They decide I don't know how or why, except for the Fable. I think they got like the most traumatizing manga that I could think of. I haven't read Berserk yet, but I've read the first volume of Vinland Saga for sure, and the first 3 volumes of Golden Kamuy now. And oh my god, what the fuck? Why
I've read
is
Berserk. It's
yeah,
good.
why is the Fable the R18 manga and not Golden Kamuy? Why is Golden Kamuy R16?
Also, crazy shocker there. Berserk is good. Watch out for the hot takes. That's what people come here for when they
Oh,
come here.
crazy. I'm gonna bum off that Berserk volume off of them and borrow it for a little bit, and then maybe I'm gonna get into it as well. Who knows?
I I like the concept of like normie manga, quote unquote,
Mhm.
as in manga that's palatable enough to the average viewer that it can act as a gateway drug into the more
The more manga.
manga, as in
Yeah.
it has more fan service, it has more oops, I fell and my hand landed on her breast
It's
type
also
stuff.
it's not even just like the fan service, it's sometimes just the general anime isms of
Right.
the extremely over the top reactions that some characters have.
What?
What? Yeah, wait. Or just like the general way Japanese humor sometimes is.
Very slapstick.
Yeah,
Surprisingly slapstick.
surprisingly slapsticks is just crazy over the top emotions, which I mean, I'm German. Our humor sometimes is questioned if it's even exists. It's like dry. It's like Sahara
It's a
dry.
cryptid. It's a cryptid.
Yeah.
People have talked about seeing it, but no one has been able to take a picture of it. A bunch of good normie manga. Full Metal Alchemist. That's good normie manga. I think Death Note used to be on my list, but if you want to argue with Light's manipulator behavior, that it is now in fact a little cringe.
Yeah, I think there are like two tiers of normie anime or like gateway anime. One is where it's like gateway anime if you're 14 and gateway anime if
Yeah.
you're like 20. Also, I think like Death Note and also Sword Art Online is like the go-to teen gateway anime where it's like it is cringe if you're older, but like when you're at that age that is like aimed at, then it's like the sickest shit ever.
I'm gonna defend Death
Mm.
Note a little bit. Yeah, it could be a little cringe, but so can all anime. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, being a little bit cringe is not a crime.
No, it's not. We're a little
Yeah.
bit cringe, and we haven't been caught yet, so
We are a little bit cringe. But yeah, I don't remember Death Note as much. Have never watched the anime, but I read a good chunk of the manga.
this is so weird.
Yeah, it's
It's
I
so
cannot
weird.
like I remember that the story was good, but I don't know the vibe. I forgot everything. I was like binge reading that shit in one day because I like injured myself from falling off a bike and I was like, "Yay, I'm off school. No one is home. I have to stay in bed all day. I guess I'm gonna read 80 chapters of Death Note now."
Oh man, what manga have I done that with? Like where you read basically all of it in a couple of days, or about 100 chapters in a few.
Chainsaw Man.
You've done that with Chainsaw Man?
Yeah. I read the first 90 chapters because I thought it was incredible. I think it was peak fiction. Part 1 is incredible. And then I
Mhm.
did the same thing with part 2 because I wanted to get it over with. By the end I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna get over with it."
You couldn't have known that it'd be bad once you started part 2, or did you wait until it was completed?
I waited until it was completed. I was truly blinded to the reality of how part 2 actually was because
No promise. Fujimoto is
during
cooking. No promise. I promise.
the thing is, during the time, there was like a huge wave of Fujimoto positivity because of the Rezo arc, the movie coming out. So, and like before that, the anime and before that, everyone else always like, "Oh, Fujimoto is so peak. He's the best. He's the goat." So, and I mean, those arcs are incredibly good. Like I said, the first part is incredibly good. He deserves all of the praise he gets for it.
Uh-huh.
So I was just like, whenever I read someone criticizing part 2 and hating on it, I was like, okay, how bad can it be? People on the internet just hate things to hate them. And then
Yeah,
I
they are
read
haters.
them. Yeah. And then I read it until like chapter 170, I was like, okay, this is good. This is pretty good. I like it. And then
And
the last
then
50 chapters happened. And I'm like, themes and such.
it's all because you made the JJK fans angry. They used their can't read and can't write curse technique on it.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys get. I am a JJK fan. I haven't watched Chainsaw Man or even read it yet, but I plan on it.
I mean, I would still recommend it. It's still.
How's his art?
The art is also very cool. He is definitely a very good mangaka. You cannot deny. The art is good to great. It really depends on the chapter, of course, and he makes incredible fight scene layouts and all of that.
I honestly,
And some panels are just poor aura, you cannot deny.
right. I honestly, I don't know if it's because I'm trying to become a writer, but I do very much appreciate like the invisible factors, like the layout and kind of how from page to page it leads into one to the other. I like people notice that sort of stuff, but I don't know how many opinions or how well formed anyone has ever thought about it. But that's just me.
I really want to read Akanebachi because I heard that the later chapters get incredibly crazy from the page layout and the art, where it's like it gets trippy. And I
Which
really
one
want to see how that looks, but I read like the first chapter and I'm like, okay. It
is
is it is like interesting. It is like one of those manga that are like incredibly culturally specific. Where it's like one incredibly culturally specific thing about Japan. In this form, it's like a form of like Japanese storytelling, more or less. Where you just
yeah, I
have
think
like,
that's the one about
yeah,
Rakugo.
yeah, Rakugo, where it's like you have just like one guy sitting in front of an audience and like telling a story in different voices and playing different characters all at once.
When I was at the tail end of my interest into anime video essays, because I'm a loser like that.
Wow.
I remember hearing a lot about oh man. Yeah, it was anime about Rakugo that everyone really loved. I remember being like I don't know. I can barely deal with stage plays. I think watching this will take me out of it. I don't think I'll enjoy it.
I cannot say how the anime is. I feel like on the one side, I think the anime is definitely probably a better format than a manga for this kind of thing because in a
They can
manga
do the
you do
voices.
lose you do lose a lot of the performance aspect. It is just very difficult to truly evoke the emotion that
Mhm.
something like Rakugo or also music, any music manga, it is very difficult to relay that kind of emotion in just a drawing.
Do you think I made all the video SES fans mad at me when I said for losers?
No, they know that they're losers.
Okay. Everyone can like what they like and take pride in it. Blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. Touch grass. Don't worry, they're not gonna be mad at you.
I know. I'm kidding.
Hmm.
My my manga collection is very poor. I have Death Note, the first like 2 or 3 volumes, and then I have another one that will not be named because the ending was terrible and I want to forget about it.
Name it. Name and shame.
I told you about it, so let's see if you can remember.
I don't listen to you when you talk.
Oh, okay.
I
You
look at
shouldn't admit that out loud.
I look at the mirror next to me and I just look at my mirror image and nod. I was like,
You're like, I look at a mirror and I pretend that I'm talking to myself, so I'll listen to it.
hmm. I just look at myself and remind myself there are beautiful things in life.
Trying not to cry while making eye contact with your
Mm.
reflection.
Yeah, I've recently just radically sorted out a bunch of old manga that I have. I think I don't know if I talked about it last time as well, but I have a whole ass giant box of old manga and I need to bring those to a flea market. So I have more room in my shelves for new manga.
Just get another shelf. Five head, come on.
I probably could, but I also like don't really like those old manga anymore. They're just not. They
Oh,
don't spark joy anymore. They're not something
what
where I'm
are
like
they?
everything, literally everything. I couldn't even tell you.
Oh, okay. If it was like harem, I would understand that. I've only read one decent harem story, and I'm embarrassed to say this because of how bad it started, but it's Rosario Vampire. It actually gets good. Promise. Promise. Please believe me. It becomes more about the
I
characters.
good for you. Fight for your life and fight for your life.
This said in the most I don't believe you possible.
Mm.
I wouldn't blame everyone for not believing me. Harem is a terrible genre. I was at the tail end when like Love Hina and like all of those were really popular or at least well respected, and I always didn't like them.
I liked a harem anime in the sense that I think that a lot of them have like incredibly cool like concepts and world building in them, but they get kind of overshadowed by the giant anime breasts that are breastling boobily down the stairs all the time.
Not that there's anything wrong with any of that. It's
No,
all about moderation.
hey, listen, the other side of things that I wanted to say that I like about harem anime is that I also like looking at pretty anime girls. I'm no better than a man.
And if you want, you can go to reverse harem and see really pretty men.
I don't know. So reverse harem never really does it for me. With reverse harem, I cringe. With normal harem, I never liked that. The only reverse harem that I do like is
Ooh.
Akatsuki no Yona. But with normal harem, I'm like, girl, you can do better.
You can do better than like
You can
five guys.
no with normal harem, I'm like, girl, you can do better than that. Like no name, average Japanese high schooler. You could be with me. I
Well,
could
that's
save you.
that's the issue with harems is usually the protagonists are super boring.
They also all look the same. But it's
Well,
like you need to be the self-insert. You need to be the self-insert so all the horny teenagers can imagine themselves as the main character.
I've never liked that type of protagonist personally.
It is the most boring way you could write a protagonist.
Like it has its uses. There's even some series that are good that have a an everyman protagonist that people can latch onto, but or really latch onto. You should be latching on to every character, every main character at least.
Yeah, there's definitely a appeal to it to have like your POV character be someone with views and like a reality that you can relate to.
Do you think people would argue that they become that type of character as the story goes on?
I don't understand the question.
Like, okay, because I could see a defense for the everyman archetype as yes, they start out as a blank slate, but they eventually become their own character through the course of the story by either making actual decisions or things happening to them. By definition, they don't become the same person they started with, type of thing.
Isn't that just like how you're supposed to write a character in general?
I mean, yeah, but the idea is, oh, that every man isn't an everyman anymore, is my point.
I mean, I guess is that. I mean, yeah, I guess that is.
They could argue that. They shouldn't, because
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. I
Yeah, I
don't think
was
it
gonna
does
say, like,
anyway.
how many times has that happened?
None. I can't think of any. Sound off in the comments about your favorite everyman protagonist that we just
Yeah,
shit talked.
I can literally not remember this a singular arc because I never finished those. I never finished those type of manga. I just think about like all of these everyman isekai main characters in their stories, and it's like I enjoy starting those stories
I don't enjoy
because
ending them.
I never finished them. I'm like, as soon as it gets to like the mid part of the story, it where it start when it starts to kind of drag, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Thank you for entertaining me for the past half an hour.
I like I'm a Spider, so what? I like that subgenre of isekai becoming a monster trademark.
Yeah, I'm a Spider, so what is so good. I love it. I adore it.
If you can see the concepts I have for like some of my main characters, you would notice that I do love it because I base some of my main characters off of Shiro. I just outed myself as a fake fan. I don't think Shiro is her like complete full name. One second.
I
People know
have
what it is. They can look it up.
I honestly do not know the main character's name because I don't think I read it that far. I think I only read it until like she got out of the cave. So in my head she's Spider-Girl.
That there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Shira Ori. I remembered Shiro because she's mainly white. Like
Mm.
color palette. Like she's wearing a white dress with like a white hood and she has white hair.
Mm.
I read the light novels. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I never could find a really good translation of them. I do think we have to end it now, though, the episode, because I still have to do some preparations and I have to get to bed at a reasonable hour this today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe if you liked what you heard, if you liked us yapping, and if you made it so far. Yeah, thank you very much. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.